Hello again. So a little bit earlier I was talking to you all about your generator belt or alternator. In this case, this car has a generator. But I wanted to show you, we were talking about making sure you inspect this belt to make sure that it is in good shape. Now, one thing you're going to find with VWs is you are going to have different size belts. So it's very important, if you can see the size of your belt, take note of it, write it down, take a picture. You see this one's 10 by 905. They are different sizes. You want to make sure you get one. Belt is the lifeblood of your car. You got oil and you have air. The only two things that keep it cool. If this belt is too loose, your car can run hot. If it fails, you can blow the engine. So you want to make sure that you keep this belt in good shape. This one was loose on the car, but I wanted to inspect everything. I figured I'd take you guys along for the ride, but I wanted to show you. There's a couple different belts you can get besides sizes. You've got ones that are notched like this, serrated type belt, or you've got solid belts. It really doesn't matter which one you use. For some, it's just personal preference. I kind of like these because I think they bend a little better. Other people like the solid ones. They say they last longer. I don't know. I've used both. But if you take the belt off and you twist it, see how I'm pulling it back? Can you see the cracks there? This needs to be replaced. Now, could I run it for a little while? Sure, I could. But do you really want to risk having this fail? So my suggestion, if you got a car like this, you got some cracking in your belt, replace it, order a new one. Like I said, match the number. You want to get the same one that was on your car. That way you know it's going to fit. Even if you look it up online and it shows different size, if this was on your car and it fit right, get this belt. A lot of times you've got vehicles where things have been changed and you may not have a belt that matches the year of your vehicle. You could have a totally different engine, different setup, alternator, generator, 6 volt, 12 volt, whatever it may be. So just keep that in mind. So what I'll be doing is I'll order another belt, and I will keep this one as a spare just in case. If the new one breaks, or maybe somebody else at a show or event breaks theirs, it's still usable. It's been on the car. But for now, since I don't have one, I'll stick it back on. But I wanted to show you, if you pull off the pulley, you've got a little key in here in the shaft of either your generator or your alternator. This is a generator. Be very careful. You want this in the upright position. If this falls out and you lose it, you're in bad shape. But I wanted to show you in here, sometimes if the pulley is loose, this keyway, the slot that this key, that's what they call it, a key, goes into, can actually get wallowed out, and the shaft itself can be ruined because of it being too loose. So the pulley's in two pieces. This is the back piece. And there's two things that can go wrong with this. You see these slots here, top and bottom. If your pulley is too loose, let me grab the other side to show you guys. These fingers that are in this front pulley, if it's too loose, it can start moving like this, and then it wallows out the holes in the back part. You want these to fit together. Sorry, trying to do this one-handed. But you want this to fit together and be there, but you can look to see if there's any damage. The other thing you want to check out is in the front. You can see how the hole, how this piece fits in there, and sometimes it can actually elongate the hole there as well if it's too loose. If you have any type of damage on your pulley, you can look here at these little fingers. If you see grooves cut into them, you need to replace it. Now this one has some type of damage at the top edge there. That's probably just somebody dropped it or did something like that with it. Other thing you can fail with these is this piece right here, which is attached to the back of this pulley. A lot of times these can just snap off and the pulley will just be spinning on here without really doing anything. But you want to check that, make sure that's not loose and coming out or completely off. Check these slots, make sure they're not cut off. This pulley, also look for rust. You can see we got rust here. Look at the belt surface. You don't want anything sharp here. If you feel anything that seems out of place, get some sandpaper, sand it smooth, or again, replace it. It's not that expensive. I can show you a new one. I've got one in the inside if you guys want to see it. But again, when you have everything off, try not to lose this key. As you can see, this pulley is slotted to go right in there over that keyway. If anything happens there, it falls off or self-destructs, then you've got problems. Again, that's what powers your fan to cool the engine. If you watched the earlier video when I was in here, I was talking about the shims for spacing the belt. So you're supposed to have 9. I counted these. Somebody has 10 in here. You've got some that go on this side, and then some that go on this side. So depending on how many shims you have will determine how tight or loose your belt will be. When you put the shims on the outside, these are new. Somebody put new ones in there. You've got the retention cap piece, then you have your nut. And that's how it goes together. If you're taking this off just to inspect it, one thing I would say pay attention to, look at the direction the letters or numbers are. If your belt's on like this, with these numbers facing you, put it back the same way. If they're backwards like this, put it back the same way. Also pay attention to the number of shims. If you had 5 on the inside, make sure you still got 5 on the inside. That is if you're putting the same belt back on. If you're putting a new one on, you're going to have to test it by putting a few shims in, and you may have to add some, you may have to take some out. Chances are you're going to have to add some because the belt's not going to have as much wear. And again, as time goes on, the miles you put on your engine, this belt will wear and this will be loose. So it's important that you check the tension on the belt from time to time to make sure it's not too loose. I'll pop over here to the 63. It's cold out here tonight. Hopefully you guys can see this, so I don't have any light. But this belt here probably could use to be tightened a little bit. You see it's a solid belt. It doesn't have any of the grooves in it. One way you can tell if it's too loose, take your hand, see if you can turn the pulley. If you can turn the pulley, then it needs to be tightened. You don't want it too tight. If you have it too tight where it's not moving at all, you can actually ruin the bearings in your generator or alternator. The earlier live video, I was shooting over the fresh air hose, which I just swapped out from the metal ones to the proper paper ones. Still have this one to do. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together, and appreciate y'all for tuning in again. If you want to see the original intro video, that one, the live videos take a while to post for whatever reason. I shot a little bit earlier tonight, but it should be uploading soon. And for all of you tuning in, I really appreciate your support. Watching these videos helps me to get pushed out to more people, and getting the word out about repairing these cars or finding out about parts, good and bad. It's good to share that knowledge with each other. So thank you again, and have a great night or day depending on when you're watching.